Welcome to the official podcast series by Potenza, where innovation meets insight. In this series, we dive deep into the world of SAP, explore the power of robotic process automation, and unlock the true potential of data analytics. Whether you're a tech enthusiast, a business leader, or just curious about the digital transformation shaping our world, you're in the right place. Tune in, stay curious, and let's explore the future of enterprise technology together. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on YouTube for more powerful insights. Now, let's get into today's episode.
Here's the deal. We're all, swimming in documents, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Think about the daily deluge. PDFs we've scanned, handwritten notes that are sometimes a delightful puzzle.
Sometimes just a puzzle.
Right. Emails stacking up, contracts thick enough to stop a bullet, and invoices. Oh, the glorious invoices.
We'll forget those.
Trying to wrangle all that manually. It's just so slow, mistake-prone. It really feels like pushing a boulder uphill sometimes.
And what's truly staggering is the sheer amount of information that's just locked away in there. It's estimated that, 80 to 90% of business data is unstructured. It's trapped inside these documents that computers historically haven't been able to decipher very well.
80 to 90%, it's huge.
It is. Imagine the insights we're missing out on.
Exactly. It's like having this treasure trove, but the map is in a language only we can read. Until now, maybe.
Well, this is where things get seriously interesting.
Okay.
Enter Smart Document Understanding. It's powered by the smarts of machine learning.
Smart Document Understanding.
And this, you'll see, changes basically everything.
How so?
In essence, Smart Document Understanding uses AI and learning algorithms to teach computers how to read and understand documents much like a human would.
Like a human?
Sort of. It's about automatically extracting not just the words, but the actual meaning, the context behind them.
Okay, so for you, our listener, this means those really tedious tasks that just gobble up your time.
Yeah, like processing invoices, digging through contracts, manually typing in data from forms.
Those could be automated.
Yes, automated.
Yeah.
And often with a level of accuracy that's frankly pretty impressive, maybe even superhuman in some tasks.
Wow. So it's about reclaiming your time for the work that truly needs your expertise, your brain power.
Precisely. And that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Our mission, should we choose to accept it?
Our mission is to explore how machine learning is transforming document analysis. And maybe more importantly, what this actually means for how you operate and the knowledge you can unlock.
And we'll be using insights from Smart Document Understanding, how machine learning transforms document analysis, as our guide.
That's the plan.
All right, let's get down to brass tacks then. What is document understanding, really? It sounds simple, but I get the feeling there's more to it.
You're spot on. It goes way beyond just optical character recognition, OCR.
Right, OCR just turns pictures of text into actual text you can copy and paste.
Exactly. Document understanding is about truly grasping the content and the structure of a document. It's about interpreting its meaning, its purpose.
Could you give us a concrete example? Make it real.
Okay, think about a legal contract again. Basic OCR. It just gives you the words on the page, a big block of text.
Yeah.
But a real document understanding system, it goes much deeper. It would identify different sections like liability, termination clauses. It recognizes key details, dates, names, amounts. And ultimately, it understands the document's purpose, the obligations involved.
So it's like the difference between being able to just read words aloud in a language you don't speak and actually understanding the conversation, the nuances.
That's a really good analogy.
Yeah.
And achieving that level of comprehension, it involves a combination of technologies.
Like what?
Well, computer vision often analyzes the layout where things are on the page, headings, paragraphs, tables, that sort of thing.
The visual structure.
Right. And then natural language processing, or NLP, kicks in to understand the language itself, the meaning, the context of the words.
Now, I remember some older software supposed to help with documents. How is this machine learning approach different from those, rule-based things?
Yes. The fundamental difference is how they learn. Those older rule-based systems, very rigid.
Limited.
Very limited. They could only do exactly what they were programmed for, like find the number after invoice number on this specific template.
Gotcha.
Today's intelligence systems, the ones powered by machine learning models, they learn from seeing tons and tons of examples, many different documents.
So they spot patterns.
Exactly. They identify patterns and relationships without needing someone to explicitly tell them what to look for in every single different case.
So they can actually adapt. If they see a new invoice format, They don't just break.
Precisely. They can adapt to various formats and layouts without needing someone to hard code new rules each time.
That's the key difference then.
It is. It bridges that critical gap between, it's just a pile of documents and data you can actually use. It lets computers interpret these documents much like we would, but much, much faster and at a massive scale.
Okay, so we have a handle on what document understanding is. But man, the document landscape is wild.
It really is.
We're typing pristine digital files right next to blurry scans, maybe even handwritten notes. How does machine learning even begin to make sense of all that variety?
That's a crucial question, and it really highlights the adaptability we were just talking about. A good system needs to handle that whole spectrum. Let's take scanned PDFs and images, for example.
Here are the common ones.
Right. These are essentially just pictures of text. The computer doesn't see letters, it sees pixels, shapes.
Right, the text isn't immediately accessible.
Exactly. So this is where machine learning-driven OCR comes in, optical character recognition. But the modern stuff...
Driven by ML, how's it better?
It's trained on vast amounts of image data to detect and convert that printed text into machine-readable text, and the accuracy of modern AI-based OCR. It's really remarkable now.
Better than the old days.
Oh, much better.
Yeah.
It can handle different fonts, imperfections in the scan, low-quality images sometimes. It effectively unlocks text that used to be really difficult or impossible to get at automatically.
That's a huge leap. I remember older OCR being, well, let's just say an adventure sometimes.
Yes. An adventure is one word for it.
Okay, what about the real curveball?
Mm-hmm.
Handwritten forms and notes. That seems like an even tougher nut to crack.
It definitely presents a bigger challenge. Handwriting is just so variable, isn't it?
Infinitely variable.
But we now have advanced neural network models specifically designed to interpret handwriting. They learn by analyzing huge data sets of handwritten examples, all different styles.
So they learn the general shapes and flows, even if my E looks totally different from your E.
Exactly. They learn the commonalities, the patterns, and thanks to deep learning, the accuracy of handwriting recognition has improved dramatically. It's making it much more feasible now to digitize things like, say, hand-filled survey responses or historical records.
Historical records.
Right.
Interesting. Or maybe patient intake forms filled out by hand.
Absolutely. Think of the time saved there. That used to be incredibly labor-intensive, error-prone work.
No kidding. Okay, shifting gears a bit.
Yeah.
What about things that seem simpler, like emails and digital text documents? The text is already there, right? So where does ML come in?
That's a good point. The text is readily available, but it's often unstructured. It's conversational.
Ah, right. People don't write emails like structured forms.
Exactly. Think about the nuances, the implied meanings, the different ways people phrase the same request or question. Machine learning, particularly through NLP, is used here to understand the context, the sentiment, the intent behind the words.
Sentiment, like if a customer is angry.
Precisely. Or intent, is this a sales inquiry, a support request, or just a notification? An AI system can analyze incoming emails, classify them, this is urgent billing, this is a feature request, and route them automatically.
So it's not just picking out keywords, it's understanding the actual meaning.
Exactly. It can also pull out key details like dates, order numbers, names, even if they're buried in the middle of a paragraph. The challenge is interpreting that free-form language, and ML is getting remarkably good at it.
Okay, makes sense. Now let's tackle the heavyweights. Legal contracts and other really long documents.
Ah, yes, the dense ones.
They're not just long, but packed with jargon-specific structures.
Right. These are characterized by length, dense language, often a complex structure with sections, clauses, subclauses, and very domain-specific terminology.
So what can ML do here?
Well, models can be trained to identify crucial sections, termination clauses, payment terms, liability limits. They can flag specific legal entities or obligations mentioned.
Find the important stuff automatically.
Yes. Some systems can even classify the type of contract. Is it an NDA, a lease agreement, a service contract? Or even generate summaries highlighting the most critical points. Imagine the time that could save legal teams.
A summary generator for contracts. That's powerful, so it needs to understand language at a pretty high level.
Absolutely. It's more than just keyword spotting. The models need a deeper grasp of context and semantics, the meaning behind the legal terms. That's where recent AI advancements have been really significant. They can do more nuanced analysis, like maybe flagging clauses that carry unusual risk.
Fascinating. Okay, one more category. Invoices and other structured or semi-structured forms. Like purchase orders, maybe?
Exactly. Invoices, POs, expense reports, these often have predictable elements. You expect to find a vendor name, an amount, a date.
Right, they have fields. But every company's invoice looks different.
That's the key challenge. They're semi-structured. The layout varies widely. But machine learning excels here by learning the general patterns.
Patterns.
Yeah, it learns what an invoice usually looks like, even if the specifics change. It can identify and locate those key fields, invoice number, date, line items, the total amount due, even if they're in slightly different places, or use slightly different labels across different vendors' documents.
So it learns the concept of a total amount field, not just looking for the exact words total amount due in the bottom right corner.
Precisely. It uses layout analysis where things are relative to each other and keywords, like finding the label total or amount due and then extracting the number next to it or below it.
And this means less manual data entry.
Significant automation of data entry without needing custom templates or programming for every single vendor's invoice format. Think about the efficiency boost for accounts payable departments. Huge.
Okay, so all these different pieces, the OCR,
Yeah.
understanding handwriting, NLP for emails, analyzing structure in contracts, finding patterns in invoices, they all fit together.
Exactly. They aren't just separate tricks. Smart document understanding brings these core capabilities, powered by machine learning, together into a cohesive whole.
Let's break those core capabilities down.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned text extraction, OCR, first.
Right, that's the foundation. Using neural networks now for both printed and handwritten text. Much higher accuracy than traditional systems. Gets the raw text out.
Okay, text extracted, then what?
Then often comes document classification. The system automatically figures out what kind of document it is. Is this an invoice, a contract, a resume, a customer letter?
How does it know?
It learns from patterns. It looks at the language used, the overall layout, maybe even metadata to make the classification. This isn't based on rigid rules, it's learned. And that allows for smart routing, send invoices to AP, resumes to HR, etc.
Makes sense. Streamlines things. What about pulling out the specific information inside the document?
That's entity recognition and data extraction. This is about identifying and pulling out specific pieces of info. Names, dates, dollar amounts, addresses, product codes, you name it.
Like the invoice total or the contract effective date.
Exactly. And the key thing is, ML can recognize these entities even when they appear in different contexts or formats. It's what transforms that unstructured document into structured, usable data. Think about automatically populating a database from a pile of forms without anyone typing.
That's the data entry automation piece.
A big part of it, yes. Then there's layout and structure understanding.
You mentioned that for invoices.
Right. It uses computer vision techniques to grasp the visual organization, recognizing tables, columns, form fields, headers, footers, and understanding how they relate to each other.
Why is that so important?
Because position matters. Where information is on the page gives it context. Knowing that 100 Moldo 0 is in the total price column of a table row linked to product X is crucial for a correct interpretation. It preserves that vital context.
Got it. So it's not just a bag of words.
Not at all. And finally, there's content summarization.
For those long documents.
Exactly. Using natural language processing to boil down lengthy texts into concise summaries. This can be extractive, pulling out the most important sentences, verbatim or abstractive, where the AI generates new sentences to capture the core ideas.
Like writing an executive summary automatically.
Pretty much. It's a massive time saver for getting the gist of a long report, a legal brief, or research paper quickly.
Wow. Okay, so putting all these capabilities together, it sounds like a really powerful toolkit for finally tackling that document overload we started with.
It really is.
So how does this actually translate into real-world improvements for businesses, for people doing the work?
Well, by enabling all these tasks, machine learning is fundamentally transforming document-heavy workflows. I'd say it hits 3 key areas particularly hard.
Okay, what's the first?
Automation and speed. This is maybe the most obvious one. ML allows for high-volume processing with minimal human intervention.
Just churning through documents.
Yeah. Tasks that used to take days reviewing applications, processing claims, onboarding clients can potentially be done in minutes. There are studies showing, for instance, massive reductions in mortgage application processing times.
Days to minutes. That's not just faster, that's transformative.
It really is. This level of automation enables near real-time processing, 24/7 operation if needed. No more waiting for someone to get to the bottom of the pile.
Removes bottlenecks.
Exactly. Removes bottlenecks, makes businesses way more agile, allows for faster decisions, better customer service. The ripple effects are significant.
Okay, speed is one thing, but what about accuracy and consistency? We've all dealt with automated systems that make silly mistakes. Can we trust this?
That's a vital point. And the answer is increasingly yes. Unlike humans who get tired, distracted, or just have a bad day,
Guilty.
we all are.
Yeah.
Machine learning models, once they're properly trained, perform consistently. They apply the same analysis, the same rules, the same level of scrutiny to every single document, every single time. Tireless and consistent. Plus, you can build in automated validation checks. The AI can cross-reference information or flag things that look anomalous, catching errors maybe even a human might miss, especially in long or complex docs.
So potentially fewer errors than manual processing.
Often, yes. This leads to fewer downstream problems, errors in databases, compliance slip-ups. It reduces the need for costly rework. While getting it right depends on good training data, a well-implemented ML system can often match or even exceed human accuracy levels for many tasks.
That's a big claim, but I can see how consistency helps.
Okay, speed, accuracy. What's the third area?
Intelligence and insight. This is where it gets really exciting, moving beyond just efficiency.
How so?
ML doesn't just process, it can analyze. It adds value by discovering patterns, trends, and generating insights from the documents being processed.
Like what kind of insights?
Okay, imagine processing thousands of customer feedback forms. The system might identify recurring complaints or suggestions you weren't even looking for.
Spotting trends. Or analyzing contracts. Flagging clauses that are consistently linked to disputes later on. Or highlighting upcoming renewal dates across your entire contract portfolio that need attention. Or even detecting unusual patterns in financial documents that might, hint at potential fraud or errors.
So it's not just doing the task, it's learning from the task and the data.
Precisely. It transforms these static documents from just records into actual dynamic decision-supporting assets.
That's a different way of thinking about documents.
It is. And think about summarization, helping executives grasp key points quickly, or using NLP to compare versions of a document and instantly see what's changed. Plus, these systems improve over time.
They keep learning.
As they process more documents, they get better, more adept at handling variations, new vocabulary. This makes the whole process more resilient, less dependent on one person's specific knowledge, and ultimately supports better, faster, more informed decision-making.
So it's efficiency, yes, but also deeper understanding.
That's the goal. Operational efficiency and strategic advantages through better access to data and the intelligence hidden within it.
Well, this has been a truly illuminating deep dive, really fascinating stuff. So if we had to boil it down, what's the key takeaway for you, our listener?
I think the core transformation is this. Machine learning is fundamentally changing how we interact with documents. Full stop.
Moving beyond just storing them or reading them one by one?
Exactly. It's shifting us away from those time-consuming, often frustrating manual tasks and towards a future where the valuable information locked inside can be automatically extracted, understood, and actually acted upon.
So it's really about moving from maybe unstructured chaos
Sometimes feels like that.
to a state of intelligent clarity and genuinely actionable insights.
Well put, yeah. And the benefits for organizations are pretty clear. Smarter automation, much faster processes, and crucially, this ability to uncover knowledge that was essentially buried before.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? About the just immense untapped potential sitting in all those digital filing cabinets, all those email archives.
Mountains of it.
So maybe here's a final thought for you to chew on. Consider the sheer volume of information sitting right now in your own documents. Scanned files, emails, reports, contracts. How could these capabilities we've talked about fundamentally revolutionize your workflows, your understanding?
What new insights could you uncover if you could suddenly analyze all that data?
What persistent bottlenecks, those things that always slow you down, could you finally eliminate? This isn't just about, processing paperwork faster. It feels like it's about unlocking a whole new level of intelligence from the information that surrounds us every single day.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the POTENZA podcast series, where we decode SAP, automate with RPA, and analyze with precision. We hope you found today's conversation insightful and inspiring. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the technologies transforming tomorrow's enterprise. Got questions or ideas for a future episode? Drop them in the comments, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time. Thank you.